super, 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 super young, and then growing up and have to recognize that. Like, all right, that was the problem. It's deep.
Yeah, nah, that's definitely deep. But the fact that you can even understand that and
Mm,
talk about it and recognize that you weren't able to cope and you didn't know it, and then it sounds like from what I hear that it was more so just coming out in like anger
mm-hmm.
and not really
A thousand
understanding that.
percent.
But it's deep that you was saying that you also felt how I was saying people might feel like wow like you didn't even know her so but like it's still your mom, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy we talk about like more so the word robbed,
Mm-hmm.
like feeling
A thousand percent.
like completely just robbed in so
Yep.
many ways to the point where even now when you're creating music
Mm-hmm.
and just like wow like would she like this, would she like
Mm-hmm.
this, or maybe my hair or you know
So it's
whatever it
like,
is.
not to cut you off, but it's like now I have to create an image to miss. You feel what I'm saying? Like
Oh, talk more
I
about
make it
that.
up. Like I got write a lot of records about her, you know, but it's more so I'm talking to her in these records. Not the But I just wrote a song to where she talking to me to my best ability. Like what would she say? I don't even know how she would talk, what she would say. I don't even know, but I'ma just write what I feel she would say. You feel me? But even that was hard because it just was like I don't have nothing to I don't have it. I don't have nothing to hold on to, remember. I just gotta create it. It's like it's a made up, it's like Santa. It's like, you feel me? Like the boogeyman kid can't tell my little cousins no such thing as the boogeyman. I know it's not, but it's like a made up image, like in my head of someone that could have been really in my life. You feel me? That's bogus.
Yeah,
That's bogus.
that definitely is, but that's crazy that you were thinking about it from that creative standpoint to
Mhm.
be able to try to tap into it from
Mhm.
that perspective, like how you think your mom, what you think she would be saying, and like
Mhm.
how she be able to do that, and even what you saying it before not having the ability to cope, but that's a hell of a coping
Yeah.
mechanism to be
Yeah.
able to do
Thousand
that.
percent.
A lot of people out there probably would be super thankful to hear this episode and be like, wow, like you can go a step beyond what I think people would deem your limits
Mhm.
in terms of your mind and being able to just explore your emotions and
Mhm.
see how it come out like that because it could be scary.
Mhm.
It could, or let me not say it could be. Was it challenging, or did you
A
feel like
thousand.
how did you feel about it?
So just even writing the records about her, like that's every year I make sure I, release or birthdays, death anniversaries or whatever. I make sure like I acknowledge my mom. So it'd be like with creating them records with me talking to her, that was easy because I already know what I want to say. You feel me? I already know but I always wanted to know what she would say back. But I never thought to like make a record with her saying something back. You feel me? So I don't know that creative process. I think that was harder than overall to answer your question. It's always hard. It always bring me back to a certain point in my life where I was like super emotional over it. Like sometimes I guess it's a whole mental thing. Like what we think about. If like even right now is it's triggering. You feel me? Like just when you finally sit and think about it, it's hard. It's always gonna be hard. Like one of my close friends just lost their dad, and they actually had a relation. They older than me. You feel me? So they dabbing in their life way longer. Like
Hmm.
so it's like they asking me how and I said I can't give you the answer to that because I don't know what that's.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can
Yeah.
only tell you that it don't stop. The pain don't stop. It's just how you deal with it. If you get better with dealing with it, that's when it get better. But I'm telling you, it's gonna feel the same every time you think about it. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you nothing, beyond that. So
Yeah, but but that's
it's
real to tell
painful.
them though, because it is painful, and no two losses are the same. And so how you
Mhm.
felt and how you dealt with it. But I think that's good advice. I lost my father
Mhm.
last year,
Mhm.
and I lost my grandmother 3 years before that, and my
Sorry to
grandma
hear that.
was my world.
Mhm.
Thank you. And those two deaths though, both in my immediate family in small circle, but they're different, but like you said, the pain is still there, and
It's
it's
going.
even
You
though
gonna
how
feel
many
it.
years it is, you're gonna still
You
feel
gonna
it, and you're
always
gonna
feel it.
have to just move through it. But what you said was dope that you have to. It doesn't just get better, but like if you have the ability to cope with it better and
Mhm.
move through it, I think a lot of times people feel kind of like disappointed or not disappointed, discouraged
Mhm.
because they're not feeling like they're healing or getting better. Did you have moments like that? And if
Mhm.
you did, like how did you get through
Even
them?
still, I throughout the years I built a relationship with God. I wasn't really like deep into like praying, and I ain't really have a relationship with God during these times, like being a kid. You feel me? Like My family was in the church, but I wasn't ever like that wasn't ever me. Like I wasn't trying to find a religion, but I just knew it was a God. You know what I mean? So even now, just to clear it, like I don't have a religion. I just believe in higher power. I know it's a God. You know, so I got a relationship with God, and I didn't always have it. So I felt like I said, it's all it's mental. It's all so I felt like the conversations I was having with God, like from, so I've kind of like start finding myself going into graduating high school. So I'm probably like 18. You feel me? Uh, Graduating and praying and feeling like it worked. You feel me? It's like even on top of that, the energy that you put out, you gonna get it back. So I was praying, and on top of that, I would just put like thinking of positive energy, and I was just getting it back. So what I found in that was stay close to God, because that's the only person that you have to answer to in the end. And any answers that you're looking for while you're alive, you'll get them. Later. Just stay down. So that eased my brain far as like me, because I'm an overthinker on top of me being suicidal. Like easily getting depressed and discouraged, and I'm an overthinker, so I needed that balance. You know what I mean? So I built a relationship with God, and I don't know. I just felt like positive energy start coming towards me more, even though bad stuff was still happening, because that's just life. Bad stuff happened. I was even losing more people. But I think it got easier for me to deal because I learned how to deal. I learned myself to where I know what I could take and what I can't take. I learned to block out the things like I can't control. Like whatever. It's nothing you can. I just was having a conversation with my folks about this. No matter what happened, it's nothing you could do about it now. Like honestly, if I could bring the people back that I lost, I would in a snap. If I have to like get rid of the little things that I ever wanted, like things I dreamed of, like if God made me famous today, and I had to give that back for, I would. But the fact that you can't, and there's nothing you can give back, and you can't trade your life for, there is nothing you could do. So knowing that, it's not my fight. It's between, God and whatever the problem is. It's obviously not my fight, because if it was, I would be able to do something about it.
Yeah, no, I definitely know, and I feel you on that. And I think that there's so much wisdom in, just like you said, knowing yourself. And
Mhm.
so when you learn yourself, you from what I know is that you learn to trust yourself with your
Mhm.
emotions, or not be as like scared or caught off guard. It's like, okay, well, if I fall down this hole, I'm not gonna stay there, because
You see
I've
what I'm
been in a
saying?
hole like
A
that
thousand
before I
percent.
get out. So I think some people have to lean more into learning themselves. Like the way that you cope and deal with your losses, it might not work for me or the
A
next
thousand
person. I
percent.
think that's why sometimes social media and certain things, because we're so exposed to people's lives,
Mhm.
whereas before we wouldn't really know how somebody was feeling or what they was doing, or to
Mhm.
be able to compare. So same thing with your grief, like you have to essentially just deal with it how it's going to be
The
best for
best way
you
you
and what is
can.
going to be best for you. Yeah, I saw one of your videos where it was basically about depression. The
Mhm.
whole video, I think it was called depression,
Mhm.
and also having a song PTSD. And so
Mhm.
a lot of those things are subjects that are essentially what I would consider almost taboo in our community, that we don't talk about
Mhm.
enough. I do think it's getting better. I do think that I've seen a lot more platforms and a lot more people putting effort into talking about mental health in our community and how important that is.
Mhm.
And so that's something that I wanted to talk about. Like, how did you have enough courage, if you will, to make music about those topics that could be like, ah, did she really go there?
Risky. So like, I don't know. I'm a Sag. You feel
Are
me?
you?
I'm a
My birthday is
Sagittarius,
tomorrow.
bro.
I'm a Sagittarius
Sag
too.
gang,
That's
happy
probably why. Yeah,
birthday.
that's that same
Listen,
energy. Okay,
so
makes
I
sense.
can say anything. You know what I mean? Like even when I'm scared to say it, it comes out naturally. You know what I mean? Like even like not to keep bringing it up, but making records about my mom. Okay, you made one. I got about 20 of them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's no limit on what I can let out. So I'm more of the type of artist I am. I write what I feel. So I've been depressed so much, that overpowered more than me being happy at a point in my life. So I'm only speaking on what's going on. That's the type of artist I am. So if it come off as me too, I appreciate that. I'm glad to have helped you during that. But honestly, this was for me. So my art is like therapeutic for me. So the things that I speak on, I realized can help people. So that's what make me love it 10 times more. But not to sound selfish, I wrote that for me, for me to get through when I'm having my moments. Cause even still to this day, I have my moments,
Mhm.
bro. I gotta go back and listen to my song about depression. I have to go back and listen to these records about my mom when I'm thinking about, you know what I mean? So basically, that's what it is. Even PTSD. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
This is not like no cat.
Mhm.
This is what's going on. So it's like my musical therapy. That's all. Like, like I said, I only listen to God. I only follow God. You know what I mean? So it be times where he he is the reason why he's the reason why I'm here. You feel me? Like he helped me write these records. So I don't know. That's my sanity right there. These records and this art, and I'm that's why I can't stop doing this. You feel
Yeah.
me? Like,
I love that, and I think even just with now, I don't know if that's your recording name, recording artist, or I know it's Lena L, but
mm-hmm.
your Instagram handles I'm trying to get to, I'm
The kid
sorry,
with the
is the kid with the gift.
yeah.
And there's a lot in what we call ourselves and how
Mm-hmm.
we speak about ourselves. And I think
Thousand
that
percent.
essentially what you said is it is being a kid with the gift, because a lot of people, even though you're saying you might be considered selfish because you're making this music for yourself or
Mm-hmm.
doing whatever for yourself, but in the end, our test, right, is our testimony. And so in
Mm-hmm.
order for us to really go through it and speak to it, I think is so much power in going through
Mm.
it. If you stood in front of an audience and you talked about depression and gave them all these statistics and all this nonsense,
Mm-hmm.
and you never been through it in your life before,
It ain't
it's
gonna
gonna be like
stick.
in
It
this
ain't gonna
ear, out
stick.
the other. But you hear it in somebody's voice, and that's why I think
Mm.
when I was hearing your music, and it wasn't even music as far as like mixed and recorded song. I'm talking about you in
Raw.
your car just going in about it,
Thousand
and
percent.
it really brought me to it, because I'm like, yo, she lived through some stuff that
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to her about, and that's what it
I
was about. And
appreciate
so, but there's people who don't share that for whatever reason.
you.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they're not sad, but
Ah,
maybe
even
because I got the same
that.
issue. I just be saying whatever and
Mm-hmm.
needing to say it, but like some people don't do it. So I got to take that time right now to thank you for doing that.
I appreciate you 1,000%. Not to cut you off. My father, bro. That's my dog. I love him to death. But my dad. So a part we not going. I don't want to confuse nothing. Parts of me push away. I run away from dealing with some stuff too. You feel me? I don't. I'm not head on with everything that I deal with. It's stuff that I can face that I still run from. And my dad is like that. Like literally all the way around. So it is people that run from, reality, run from things that they have to speak on, pain, whatever's bothering them, they don't speak on it. They hide under a rock, more than anything. And uh I think that's the balance. I think that's the difference. So if you can speak, if you can, just say it, because you also speaking for people who hide under them rocks and don't say nothing, that just need people to speak for them. So I be just trying to speak for everybody, for everybody. Even the young kid that's probably going, I don't know, do a lot of things that I did as a kid, but understand that that's not your story. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that's not the end of your story. You can overcome it and you can be way better than you were. Like nobody would ever thought I would be, this, like, I mean, this sane
Yeah.
from, I'm telling you, I ain't even finished telling you about my school life, how I was getting arrested and my dad was coming to get me from, and it wasn't like, oh dang, that just happened. It was like he know, he know the officers and the precinct and all that. Like I'm talking about like getting arrested. So and it just was like, all for what? You don't really know yet. And then you just get your answer later and you be like, I mean, I ain't happy about it, but I'm okay with if that's how my story,
Hmm.
that's how my story went. Like,
Yeah. Nah, look, I love that. Your transparency, your vulnerability, and just being able to come here and talk to us.
mm-hmm.
And so I got a couple more questions before we get ready to kind of get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them would be like, if you had to, you know what? I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that. We gonna bounce into our in love and memory segment. It's a part of our show where it's very important for us to humanize our loved ones
Mm-hmm.
and our folks that have gone on, because sometimes we don't hear people say their names, or sometimes we don't feel as comfortable saying their names or what have
Mm-hmm.
you. And so whenever I have a guest on the show, it's super important to me to make sure that we talk about their angels and just share some love. So
Mm-hmm.
on behalf of myself and the Grieffully podcast, we just want to send yourself and your family so much love. This week, our in
I
love and memory
appreciate you.
segment is gonna go out to your mom, your lovely mom Pam, and also
Okay.
your friend JJ. May they both continue
Word.
to
I
rest in
like
peace,
that.
and we sending you so much love. So our love and
I
memory
appreciate
segment
you.
this week, guys, definitely is gonna go out to your two angels, and I'm sure
I
you
appreciate
have
that
other
word.
angels as well. But yeah, just wanted to definitely say that for you. Our inspirational boost is a part of our show where we like to just give a quote or something thought provoking to kind of go into it. And I think just And that's sponsored by Adina J Designs. They make, create, and inspire us through decorated apparel, wood signs,
Mm.
custom tumblers, all that good stuff. So follow them on both Facebook and Instagram at Adina J Designs, ADENA JAYDESIGNS. Let them know that I sent you there. And for this week, what I want to say is just going to be speak your mind to protect your heart.
Mm.
And I think it was so fitting just by what we talked about here today and the importance that there are, for one, some people who don't have a voice or have one and haven't been given that space
Mhm.
or that platform or the permission to use their voices. And so it's important and powerful for you to know that you got to speak your mind to protect your heart from what you can, and also for it becoming too jaded and too dark and you being
Mm.
able to lose out on so much that life has to offer you in this world. So that's our inspirational boost in our love and memory segment. And so I
I
want to
love that.
get back into this part here. I want to ask you, what's some advice that you would give to someone that may have lost a parent young? Just if they were like in a moment where they're like, "Man, Lena, like this happened to me and I don't think I can go on."
Um, what I learned was that you have to feel every emotion to heal. You know what I mean? Uh, feel every emotion. Feel if you want to cry, cry, let it out, but don't hurt yourself healing or hurt the world, because what I did was I was like taking it out on everybody, that even like the blessings that was coming into my life, I was blocking them because I was hurting and I was in pain. You gotta let that happiness come to you. You know, you gotta accept the happiness, accept the help, accept, you know, people that come into your life, not to take the place of anyone you lost, but to not even just fill that void, because sometimes that can get missed. Just accept the help. Accept that some people are genuinely here to, you know, help you and help you get through stuff, and, you know, be that missing piece that you know, needed. So I would say, like, feel every emotion, accept all help and all love, and don't hurt the world trying to heal.
Mm.
I think that's
Love that. I never heard that before. Don't hurt
I
the
didn't
world
even I
trying
don't even know.
to. I
This
love
just
that
came,
though. I'm gonna have to write that down.
bro, for real.
Don't, yeah, don't
Yeah.
hurt the world trying to heal. I love
And
that
I
so
think
much.
that's not to cut you out, I think that's me talking to my younger self. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
the depressed version of myself, the angry version of myself. Even like my counselor, like even like, you know, my dad was trying to put me in, like, you know, therapy and stuff like that, and I was just like fighting to help. I was fighting everybody who wanted to help, like just making it like they my enemy, when it was just even the teachers who loved me the most, I was giving them a hard time. Everybody who wanted to see me be better, do better, feel better, I was blocking them blessings. So
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And so, one of the last questions that we always ask our guests before they get out of here is, if you had to choose a color for your grief, what would it be and why?
a color, black. Uh, I don't know. I think that was the darkest part, you know, and still, I think grief is like the darkest part of our, you know, healing, or you know, just our souls, our spirits, and you know, black is the darkest color, so it's
Mhm.
like,
Nah, listen,
yeah.
I rock with it. And so, usually that would kind of be like the end of our show. But since we got
Hmm.
this fire, I mean, I just hyped you up and all that good stuff. Artists in here, I'm not going to be able to let you go without blessing us with something. You have to. It's just, I wouldn't be able to live with it.
I got so many. I'm in album mode right now, y'all. So y'all gotta excuse me. I'm trying to.
Do what you gotta do.
I
Take your
be.
time.
I usually have verses off the top of my head, but let me see. I want to kind of. Oh. I need to cherish more. I need to hold on to all my moments. Don't know why I take them for granted. For I need to open up and acknowledge the fact that I'm sensitive. Hiding it puts me in my feelings more. Like doing, not knowing what I did it for. Keep trying to go missing so they'll miss me more. Not always perfect, but with God I built a good rapport. Firm believer in when it rains it pours. Feel like I dived in shores. Feel like I died in shore. I knew that I didn't. But saying I did describe the pain I was feeling. For real. Wait. They numb the pain until the pain ain't a feeling. But when the numbing go away, you gon' feel it. For real. And I ain't trying to do drugs or pour liquor in cups while hoping one day I forget what it was. No, I want to know that whatever happened and it was supposed to happen, and respond to everything with its love, be kind, give hugs, high fives, big ups. The smallest things are indefinite, the super big stuff. That's why I watch what I say to everyone, just because we fighting battles with our problems enough. Uh, took for granted I knew that I shouldn't have. But granted, I learned things that I knew that I wouldn't have. If I ain't take them chances, only God knows where I end up. Probably shackled and pinned up. Glad that I picked this pen up. Glad that I kept my chin up at the times they told me give up. God needed me more focused, like look up and sit up. I felt the pain in my stomach. I wanted to spit up. You crossed me more than Rico, more than Pop when he played Bishop. Oh, now you think you big stuff. You really got it mixed up. Can't front like I ain't this stuff. Small, big stuff. One thing I learned about love, it ain't gonna work without trust. It ain't no news without us. Confused the L's, was it lust? When I was thinking this love is over now, was a dub. Man, it's what it was, and I won't move, I won't budge. I got my drive back, like I rented from Budget. What's up? We're in the project. We building enterprises with gloves. I want my mind back, but still be in my feelings because I want my mom back, but still be in my feelings because I got my mom back, but I'm gonna keep it pushing for her. I want my mom back, but still be in my feelings because I don't know, something like that. Try to keep it on that, you know. We was already talking about. It's a lot of those though. That's why I got a bunch of verses in my head.
I don't even look. I don't like I don't even. That's how I feel. Like,
Yeah,
dang.
1,000%.
Like, you should invoice me for that. I mean, don't, cause like don't, but like you should.
Like, nah.
Listen, that was like fire, amazing, and just like your delivery, whatever. I don't even need to talk about it. They heard it, they know. It's like it's like mic drop. Listen, let them know, where can they find you.
Oh man, the kid with the gift on social media, also Twitter, Instagram. If you be on Facebook, you can just type in Lena L. Lena L everywhere. YouTube, Google, whatever you want to do. Hi, I'm Lena is out, still out. Yeah. Hi, I'm Lena.
Yeah, that's fire, guys. Listen, you know I'm going to definitely drop that in the show notes. Make sure that we know where to find her, how to connect with her, all that good stuff. There's no way that we're going to not let that happen. Definitely make sure, you know, I hang out the most on Instagram, so follow me there. It's been another phenomenal episode 70 in the books. We're in here. Actually, this is my pre-birthday lit, whatever.
We about to turn up. We about to be drunk, y'all.
Yeah. And so I appreciate it, guys. Listen, follow me over there on Instagram at I_am_J.Nicole, guys. So next time, you already know. Love and light. Peace.